usual 4x4. It's been quite a few months since you last seen me. Last trip was Exmouth back in April, May, and it's now in August. So it's getting close to summer back in the Pilbara. It's sort of 33 degrees during the day. So the camping season's quickly coming to a close. So figured I'd get away camping potentially one last time for the before the summer heat sort of ruins it. But we're at a little place called George Gorge, and it's quite a unique place for me. So 3 years ago we came here in the Colorado back before I had the canopy. So it was just the tub, and this campsite's sort of the place that started it off. I was sitting not this exact campsite, it was actually 2 campsites down, but sitting in the afternoon watching the world go by, and the sun was just blasting me in the face. And no matter, I'd already set up the car and the awning just wasn't quite right, so I really that's what made me want to get a 270 awning. But obviously with the tub I couldn't mount the 270 awning, so I thought, I'll get a fiberglass canopy. Started looking into that, and long and the short of it, ended up with alley canopy from MW and a Motop rooftop tent. The only change I've made to the car since you last saw me was I've now got a kick-ass 350 watt solar panel. It seems to be putting out about 200 watts, so I'm not all that impressed with it at the moment, but I might have a play around. And actually, let me just see what it's putting out now. Well, the battery's probably fully charged, so yeah, it's putting in 160 watt at the moment, but the battery is fully charged, so I'll be interested to see what it can max out at on a good day in summer. But yeah, hopefully it gets up around that 300 watts. That'd be a little bit better. But anyway, I'll show you around George Gorge. To be honest, the last time we were here, the water was, I'd say there was probably another metre to a metre and a half of water. None of the creeks we crossed today had water in it. And last time we were here, there was 3 creek crossings, and the last of which the water was actually over the bonnet. So yeah, it's a lot drier than it was last time I was here, but it's still pretty bloody special place. And I'll give you a look at this rock wall, because it's pretty nice. But yeah, I'll spin the camera around in a sec and show you around. Alright, we're back with another episode of Cooking with Cal. Tonight we're going to be having Osso Bucco, which I've never had before, so don't know what to expect, but I'm going to be making a dough as well. So breakfast tomorrow is going to be a breakfast focaccia, which is a little bit fancy, so I need the dough for that. And because it needs so much time to rise, I'm going to make the dough tonight, and I'm going to set aside 2 dough balls for bread rolls tonight. The only problem is I've only got 1 camp oven, and the Osso Bucco is going to take probably 2 hours in the oven. It's now 3 o'clock, so yeah, it might be a late dinner, which seems to be a theme around here. But following a King Brown, the camp cook recipe. So I've got some plain flour here, and I actually think that's going to be enough. I brought the self-raising as well, but I think if I put all, I probably don't even need all of that. I think that's heaps. So that much flour, and then maybe it's supposed to be 5 grams of yeast, but I didn't measure it, so I'm gonna go a little bit less than a tablespoon of yeast, and then 2 tablespoons of sugar just to sweeten it up a little bit. Maybe a tablespoon and a half of sugar. 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then all I'm going to do is mix up the dry ingredients and then add some water until it sort of starts turning into a dough. But I'll turn the camera back on once I've got the dough out on the table and I start kneading it. Right, I've just kept cutting that dough until it forms into a dough ball. King Brown said use a knife because it gets more air into the dough, so that's what I'm running with. But I'm just going to lay out a bit of flour on the table. Make that a bit rounder. And then I don't know how you're supposed to knead, but I'm just going to knead this for maybe 5 minutes. I think you're supposed to keep folding it in on itself, so I'm going to do that. He made it look a lot better on the YouTube channel. He was really flying with the kneading, but we're going to keep doing this for maybe 5 minutes, and then I'm going to chuck it back in the bowl and let it rise for maybe an hour and a half. And it should double in size in that time, so fingers crossed that's what it does. And then I'll keep most of it for tomorrow, and I'll keep 2 balls aside for tonight's bread roll with the Osso Bucco. Alright, we just started getting the coals going. Cooked up some sausages sausages are always better cooked over the fire, so cook them up for a bit later on. But got the Osso Bucco here. I'm just going to brown it on the coals for less than 2 minutes aside, just to try and get a bit of grillage on there. But this is that half cow that I bought probably 6 months ago now. You probably would have seen it in the Exmouth trip video. I was hanging on that roast the whole time and never got to cook it. But yeah, I've roughly chopped some onions, some potatoes. I'm gonna chuck this on the grill. Get that nice and crispy, and then chuck it in the camp oven. But I'll pick up the camera once I get the camp oven out. Have we got the view behind me though? Pretty nice little gorge, holding a little bit of water, but definitely not as much as last time I was here. Yeah, definitely dropped probably 1.5 meters from last time, but anyway, still a lovely camp. But I'll flip this Osso Bucco and get it in the camp oven. Alright, feels like it's cooled off about, I don't know, 8 degrees since the sun's gone behind the gorge there. But I've got the camp oven off to the side on the little fireplace. That's how I burnt the cheeseburger damper last time, and it's already boiling. So I'm hoping those coals start to die down pretty soon. But I'm just going to add the roughly chopped potatoes. I've got the onion in on the bottom and then the Osso Bucco on top, but I'll add the potatoes, and I've got some butter beans. So I'll add some butter beans and then some crushed tomatoes. You're supposed to add red wine, but I didn't bring any red wine, so we're going to skip that. And I might just add some garlic powder and then mix it all through. Oh, don't want the lid in there. No cuts. And then I've just got some beef stock, which I'm going to add. That's taken the boil out. Add a touch more water. I'll give this a mix and then I'll give you a look. Alright, well I'll chuck the lid on this and then chuck some coals on top. And that should be about 2 hours, which means we'll be eating dinner at 7 o'clock. Bugger. Anyway, have a look at the view though. In the morning, these cliffs over here should be all lit up, so I'll get the drone up a bit later and give you a good look around. Yeah, I don't know why I tried. We should head back to our old place in the faraway town where I met you, baby. I have cried many times over you. Sleepless nights, what a crime. Wasting my tears on a broken dream. Maybe I just can't forgive another mistake. Maybe I don't wanna feel this heartache. Every time you let me down I get to thinking I don't even know why I tried. Alright, the sun's just about to go down, so I figured I'd get one last clip in before it gets dark and you can't see what I'm eating. But I've kneaded the bread rolls twice now. They're just on their third rise. So bread rolls are looking good. I'll just let them rise one last time and then I'll chuck them in the camp oven. I'm gonna have to get the Osso Bucco out of the camp oven into the bowl, and I think we'll just serve up that whilst the bread rolls are cooking. But I'll give you a look at this Osso Bucco because it smells bloody nice. That Osso Bucco is simmering away nicely, so we'll leave that for, probably doesn't need that much longer, probably only needs, I don't know, I'll give it another half an hour maybe. But yeah, it looks pretty nice, and we got the fire going, so yeah, finish off that Osso Bucco and I'll show you once I serve it up and we get the bread rolls going. Alright, we got the Osso Bucco out of the camp oven. Not the most presentable dish, but I'm sure it'll taste alright. And I've just got the bread rolls warming up in the camp oven, just doing that final rise once I split them. But I'll give you a look at this Osso Bucco because it smells delicious. So we'll probably tuck into this Osso Bucco, and then once the bread rolls are done, I'll pull the camera out again. But looking forward to it. Alright, that Osso Bucco, oh, I'm gonna have to squat down. Alright, gonna have to squat down here because got the table set up a bit low. But that Osso Bucco was really good. A little bit, I reckon it could have done with one more stock cube in there, but really good, pretty tender, and yeah, the sauce was really good. So would recommend, pretty easy considering it's all in one pot. But have a go at these buns. Look at that. So we're gonna rip these in half and then dip in the sauce. But yeah, those bread rolls come out really well. So looking forward to this. But yeah, I'll leave it there for the night, and we'll see in the morning where we're going to be making breakfast focaccia. So we'll see you then. All right, good morning. Slept like an absolute log last night. Slept really well. Woke up at 4 o'clock, go to the toilet, and then slept in until 6 when the sun was just sort of starting to peek over the hills. But I'm gonna make that breakfast focaccia I was talking about. So that dough's been rising overnight in the fridge. So I'll let that warm up a little bit. But first things first, I'll fry off some bacon just in the camp oven. Got the fire going. So I'll just fry off some bacon in the camp oven, and that'll heat up the camp oven, and then I'll add the focaccia and let it rise one last time for a little bit. But yeah, I'll cook off this bacon and I'll pick up the camera then. All right, just got the bacon browning off. So I'll let that cook pretty much all the way through, and then I'll pull it off and I'll get the dough in there, and I'll show you how I put together this breakfast focaccia. All right, that bacon's cooked. So in my head, if I just spread this dough out along the bottom, sort of make it a bit of like a pizza base, I'll be able to then top it with bacon and red onion. So we're going to give this a go. I might just oil the bottom of the dough in case it wants to stick. Might give me a better chance of getting it out. And I think with focaccia you're supposed to oil it anyway, so that's what we're running with. Alright, I'll spread the dough out into the camp oven and just made 3 little wells for the eggs, and probably gave it about 15 minutes or so to start to puff out again, because once I spread it out in the camp oven it sort of got a bit deflated. So I'll just show you what it looks like, but what I'll do is I'll put it on the fire with some coals on top and just part cook the top of that dough. Then I'll crack in the eggs and top it with the bacon and the onion and the sun-dried tomatoes and a bit of cheese. But yeah, have a look at it. So yeah, I'll just chuck this off onto the side and we'll get cooking. I've just sort of part cooked the dough, and I've made 3 little wells for the eggs. So here's hoping I can just crack the eggs into each of the wells. Some red onion. Might look more like a breakfast pizza, but I think it'll be pretty good regardless. So we'll get this back on the fire and I'll show you when it's done. Alright, let's have a look at this then, eh? Oh, that was good. Looks like a success to me. Hopefully it comes out alright. Have a go at it. I don't know about you, but that looks pretty bloody good. So we're gonna tuck into this and we'll see you in the next clip. Well, that's gonna wrap up the George Gorge video. We're just gonna chill out here for a little bit longer and then head back to Port Edland. It's about 10 AM now, so I think it's maybe three and a half hours by the time you get off the four-wheel drive track and back onto the highway. So yeah, I'll wrap the video up here. Hope you enjoyed the gorge, and I'll put some drone footage up now to close the video out. But if you liked it, give it a like, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
We should head back to our old place in the faraway town where I met you, baby. All those years pass, now I know you. How the times can change and I get a little down. Thinking about tomorrow, I get down. Was it over from the get-go? Should we call it quits and let go? I have cried many times over you. Sleepless nights, what a crime. Wasting my tears on a broken dream. Maybe I just can't forgive another mistake. Maybe I don't wanna feel this heartache. Every time you let me down, I get to thinking I don't even know why I tried. Is it just me? Do you feel the same? Were you up all night thinking you should maybe go your own way? Or should we stay? Try to make things right, cause I get a little down. Thinking about tomorrow, I get